Hey guys, welcome to the first episode. We will be hosting a podcast. We'll be bringing some traders. So this is Shaun D. You will be my co-host, hosting this show with me. Obviously, with all the changes we've seen in the regulation side of the Forex industry, I think this is a perfect time. So this is going to be a little bit of a warm-up of what we have coming. And then obviously we'll bring on some good traders on the show. Guys, so today, like I said, a little bit of an internal podcast between myself and Shaun. That's obviously just, we're not going to do a whole get to know you, what did you do before all of this. I think you guys have been following us for quite some time. Obviously, Shaun is new not to the podcasting thing. He's been on BDTV, he's part of Inside the Exchange. He's used to this, but more on the institutional side, where I'm obviously more focused on the retail side. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a good combination of everything. And our focus point for this episode is going to be the regulation changes. So I don't know how hard have you been following the regulation changes going on in South Africa, specifically around the retail Forex space.
100%. I don't actually think that it's changes per se. I think the regulation has always been there, but now it's like the regulator is starting to actually push hard into it. And I think it's going to affect a lot of brokers, a lot of IBs, and a lot of any retail, trader or retail broker that's operating in the South African landscape.
Yeah, 100%. I think, like you said, it's always been there. It's just been like this 50-50 of is seconds, financial advice, is corporate trading, money management, all these things. And now, obviously, we've seen the FSA make a clear statement giving a guy a R1 million fine for providing signals. And the way I see it is, imagine you have 50 subscribers at R5 per person. I mean, there's no way you can cover that R1 million fine. So that's what I'm saying. It's also moving into a direction where it's good because everyone needs to be on the same playing field. And I think it's getting to a point where if you're not on the right playing field and you're not regulated, then obviously you will have to deal with the consequences. So it's bad for some guys, obviously, that is on the right. It's good educators. I mean, I have a bunch of guys that are in this industry that are legit. They're providing real value to clients, but unfortunately now, this will be one of two ways. We'll take a lot of guys out of the industry because obviously you need metric, you need some sort of financial background to actually provide these services. But also some of the guys won't have access to get the right licensing and things, which will clean up the industry, I think, a lot. To say the least.
Exactly. I think what I like about it, which is maybe controversial, is that I'm on the FSCA side, personally. And really, I mean, you mentioned a good point that we're trying to obviously clean up the industry because for the most part, there's been a lot of brokers that have come into the country, and there've also been a lot of brokers that have left the country and a lot of people that have lost money, etc., etc. So if we're all on the same level playing field, we're also protecting the consumer, right? Because if there's, let's say, call it 1,000 brokers and there's some new trader or you a new trader, how do you know which one to choose? Because there's the regulated ones with the licensing, etc., with registered license, etc. And then there are also other brokers where, maybe they've got a big marketing budget. You are seeing them everywhere. And because you're so new in the game, was you're a retail trader, you don't know what are the red flags to look for to say, can I go with this person versus that person? So for me, I kind of like, or not kind of, I really like it from that point of view that, we're protecting the guy on the street. Because, for you and I, it's very easy for us to go and look and say, okay, am I going to trade with this broker or am I not going to trade with this broker? Because we know what to look for. So the FSCA, all it's just doing is just enforcing to ensure that, the average guy, in inverted commas, is able to actually now trade with, let's call it a safer institution, right? So exactly, the safer framework. They're more protected.
Yeah, I think even on the mentorship side of things, obviously, like you've seen, since we've obviously started working together, you've obviously seen the amounts of IBs and things that's in this industry. So, I started trading back 10 years this year, back in the day. So back then, there wasn't courses or signals or all these things that you see today. There probably was, but it wasn't as public as there was today. So there was like Instagram traders, as I would call it. So everything back then, I did find this guy that paid 10,000 Rand, bought my course, didn't work out, all that. But I still saw the gap in the industry. Like there's some money to be made in this specific instance. And then throughout that time, when everything grew up, and for me, it also killed my passion for the industry. So, I mean, that's why I've been trading, but I haven't been doing anything in the sense of education or anything in that sense, because if you see these guys, and I mean, you sit with them, you see them on podcasts, and they don't even know what the word Forex means. So you're going to pay someone 5,000 Rand to learn from them. They don't even know what the word Forex means.
Exactly.
And if you ask them, they will tell you that you don't need to know what the word means for you to be profitable in this space. Which is like, say, you don't need to know how to build a bridge to become an engineer, but you're going to build bridge. It doesn't make sense what they're saying. So I really think this is going to be a really good thing for the industry, clean it up quite nicely. And then obviously we have the corporate trading side of things, which for me is a big change. Is the right change? I mean, it's also a 50-50, depending on which side of the fence you're sitting.
Yeah, exactly.
I think at the end of the day, corporate trading is money management. Is it something we want to hear? Not at all. I mean, it's a simple solution that's been around for quite some time. So the FSA obviously is coming out and saying that corporate trading is money management, which it is. Although the trader or the copier has the full authority to choose the risk, it still comes down to money management. And I mean, now we have a lot of young guys, which, remember, for me, it's like I also want to get into the H1 space. That's all I'm working towards. So for me, some fence sitting here, because also, I mean, now I need to go and get my CAT 2, so I need to go and finish my degree, so I need to do all these things, which is also good for the industry, because you don't have these guys that's going to manage money and just end up blowing all the clients' accounts.
Exactly.
So what's your opinion on the whole CAT 2?
You know, it's very interesting for me, right, in that, because the copy trading space, I think it's a good space for people without enough knowledge to trade for themselves, and rather, choose someone to follow and copy. And when I look at it, there are obviously two ways to look at it. Yes, it is money management, right? Because you're putting in your risk parameters, you're putting in how much money you're willing to invest into, the product, per se, and copy whomever you want to copy. But the master provider, right, who is the one you copy, right? I think that's where it becomes important that person needs to be, let's call it regulated. That person needs to have, all the best bells and whistles when it comes to education, licensing, etc., etc. Because I could just decide now today to go on Instagram and start giving out signals, right, with no background whatsoever, and people start following me, and people can potentially lose money from that perspective. So for the people that are wanting to copy, I think we should just allow the people to copy wherever they wish to copy. But the person that's actually giving this, let's call it signals, right, or who's managing the account, or whatever word you want to use, that's where it becomes more important for us to the need to regulate and license, etc., instead of just having any random person become a master trader, or whatever the case. Because then we go back to the same problem that we're facing with the FSCA to say, well, then what's the difference between him and you called it an Instagram trader, right? So allow the people to copy wherever they want, give them the mandate to copy wherever they want to, right? Let's just make sure that, the master person, we're ticking all the boxes, because at the end of the day, it's like a bank, right? Look, as an individual, I can go bank with Standard Bank, ABSA, Capitec, whomever, right? I have that choice. And the bank itself has the relevant licensing, etc., 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 etc. But you can't also then hinder me as an individual from my choice, from where I want to go. So I think it is a balancing act. And we need to also just look at it from the place of, okay, the FSC is clamping down on this, and we know, obviously, we work for a broker, that, word in the street, people are a bit shaken. But there are solutions out there. The only problem is that with solutions, some people have solutions, like you try this and some people have solutions, the proper licensing, the proper team, etc. Some people don't have solutions. They have the means to get the solutions, but it's not just a time factor. And it actually takes time to get those solutions, because where the argument is, I think, is that you can't get the solutions overnight, but people are having their livelihoods from what they've been doing that was now being enforced according for Sunday, which is a good thing, but it almost came out from nowhere.
Yeah, I think it's, like I said, I think it's going to shake the industry. I think in a lot of positive ways. And I think it's going to be a point, like I said, this is just me saying some things, but it's a point where all these guys that's been selling for a living, they've never learned how to trade. They've just been focusing on promoting signals, all these things, robots, EAs, all these things. And if you start regulating these products, I think we're going to see who can trade and who can't trade, exactly. And in that way, there's got so much potential in this industry to grow. I've always said this, that imagine having an alternative fund management solution with a few retail traders managed by a professional trader. There's so much space and growth. I mean, I've seen some fact sheets with 40-50% of retail traders doing it for 2-3 years. So there's a lot of space. 100% they need a good hedge fund manager above them. But if you can have that in the industry and we can clean some things up, I think the road forward is going to look a lot cleaner, a lot greener. This way we can see who is legit and not. And then obviously we'll see a lot less cases where guys are losing money to signals. All these scams where they take money for a robot. And I mean, we see these guys, that's the unrealistic part of the industry is actually, because I've been trading for a long time. I have a lot of best friends that trades full time, but these guys live good lives, but just above average lifestyles. You understand? They have their BM, they have their house or their apartment, whatever. They live a good life, but more like an engineer type of life. But then you see these guys with the Lambos and the fancy cars, and then you start thinking, realistically, if I start trading Forex in 12 months, I can buy that Lamborghini.
I don't think that's possible, but anyway,
it's not possible actually. But also, if you look at that guy selling robots, he's selling 16. I mean, I've sat with a guy that really showed me he made 16 million from robot sales in a year, which is insane. So obviously, that guy is going to have cars and those things, and that creates this picture of unrealistic expectation of the industry. And I think the FCA now clamping down on what they're doing will clean it up, and it will give us a way to understand the realistic side of trading, which is lower end returns, but at the end of the day, it's about consistency, longevity.
Exactly. And, for me, it also gives us credibility, because how many times have you spoken to a person and they ask what do you think? You say, I'm a trader. Then automatically their brains say, this Forex scammer, those Instagram guys, and we're like, no, guys, yes, they are the Instagram, inverted commas, stars. They are the scammers. They are people out there, right, finding a way around meeting impulse. But there's also professional people that are backed by FSPs that are providing a regulated, legitimate product. So for me, it's like, great. This is, and I guess we're repeating ourselves, but it really just cleans it up. And then at least for me, it's nicer after the cleanup. When I say I'm a trader, people look at me as a professional, as not where it goes. So it's almost like you have to now explain that, no, I'm not that guy. I don't do that. This is what I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I think there's also two different worlds, like what we offer here as Trive versus maybe what people out there are offering, on social media, and actually totally different worlds. And I just want the people people have this free choice to have whatever broker they want to go to, but I don't like the idea of people falling into that dream of, in 12 months, I'm going to drive a Ferrari, etc., because I think we'd all have Ferraris, right?
Look, I mean, trading is something that's always been difficult. It's something that can create the lifestyle. I've seen it multiple times. I lead to it as well. At the end of the day, it's just about staying realistic, keeping it realistic, and understanding the long term of it. And I really do believe with the cleanup of the industry, there will, like you said, there will be a lot of respect on the industry back again. There's no respect at the moment. That's a problem. If I'm telling on what I do, I just say I'm in the industry. I
define financial services.
No, it's okay. Okay. My daughter's daughter dance. I went there, this bunch of guys. I told them, look, I'm in the finance industry. That's solutions, whatever. Then you just start over-explaining rather than just saying what you really are. And like I said, I think it's going to be good if they bring back the respect and the trust the industry needed for a really long time.
100%.
Right, Shaun D, thanks for your time. Thanks for co-hosting this. I think it's going to be a really fun experience. Like I said, we have one of the biggest podcasts, I think, lined up that will ever be in the industry. We don't have a date yet, but it's going to be something that will be legit, something that will come from the right people, and something that's never been done before. Actually. Thanks for watching, guys. And then anything else from you?
Nothing on my side, but I think we just look forward for what we're building up to in this podcast. I think it's really going to be quite exciting, and let's rock and roll.
Yeah, look, I enjoy it. I mean, this first podcast I ever co-host. So it's usually like when I have an off day or the energy is low after a long day. I mean, this is 5 o'clock already some days. I think it's just good to have that co-host next to someone that's also knowledgeable, someone that understands the industry, and just, like I said, keeps from each other's energy. Right. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching.